Hi everyone, and welcome to week 5 of the online photo club. Great submissions for silhouettes and shadows, and I hope you really enjoyed the slideshow again. Last week, photo of the week went to Kala. Kala, I just loved the shadow of the bicycle. I loved how you could see the wheels and the spokes. It was such a lovely take on a shadow photo, and I loved it. That's why I made it the photo of the week. Good job, Kala. And the other segment that we do every week is called For the Love of Photoshop. And this week, it goes to Sophia. Sophia took a photo of her bear in silhouette. Silhouettes can be tricky, and usually some post-processing is used to really bring out the blacks and hide the highlights. So I did a little bit of photoshopping on her bear. So I'll bring it up here. If you can see the bear before, you can really see the color, and silhouettes are really notoriously known for the blacks of a silhouette. So I'll put up the after right now. I brought down the levels on the bear, made him a little bit more black as opposed to that brownish color he was. And now let's bring up the before and after, so you can really see what I did. So I brought down the color, the shadows, and changed it just a little bit because I changed the white balance. White balance is the color of light. And at the end of the day, usually the light changes and is a little bit more golden. So I added a little bit more golden hues in there. But wonderful job, Sophia. I loved your photo. Congratulations, everybody. Hi, everyone. Sorry about that. I had a little technical difficulty, but we're right back to it. All right, this week, let's talk about what we're going to learn. This week, it's not necessarily about composition. It's more about how to really view your photo before you actually hit the shutter button. There are two main things we're going to talk about, and everybody should keep this in mind whenever you are taking a photo. Number one is keeping your horizon lines straight. Now, a horizon line, in the most general terms, is where the land meets the sky, or the water meets the sky, or the ground meets a bunch of trees. It's this kind of horizon line. And you can actually even have it in a house. Right now, the horizon line would be the chair rail in my house. So these lines really need to be straight. On the horizon, the water, or a field, the horizon line in the background, you need to keep it straight. So when you go to take a photo, make sure your lines are straight before you hit the shutter button. It's easy enough to fix in Photoshop, but not everybody has Photoshop. And why bother fixing something if you can just take a moment and just straighten your camera before you hit the shutter button? So I want you to keep that in mind this week when you are out taking photos. Even if it's at home, baseboards are another kind of horizon line. Okay? That needs to be straight. So if you have one line somewhere in a photo and your subject is in front of it, make sure it's straight, horizontally straight. Here, let's just go over them real quick. So here, the very basic one is a sunset, and you see the water where it meets the sky, and you'll see a before and after. The before, it is crooked, and then after, it's straightened. So let's try to keep that in mind. We have another one here of my daughter playing baseball, and it's just got a slight angle in the before, but I fixed it in the after. And probably the most notable one is when she's jumping off of the dock here. The first one, it's crooked, the horizon, where the water meets the sky. And then the second one, I straightened it out. So that's just driving that home. So we are going to make sure that we keep our horizon straight when we take a picture. We will look and, whoops, let's just keep that straight, okay? And that's number one. Number two, I want you to keep in mind is that we do not want to cut off anybody's arms, legs, feet, or heads. Now you can understand how you could cut off somebody's arms, legs, or feet. When you're taking a photo of a person, you have either a head shot, which is like pretty much neck and head, or a shoulder shot. There's no appendages there, you can't mess that up. But then you have a waist up shot where you need to keep the arms seen. And then a full body shot where the feet need to be included in the photo. Cutting your feet off of the person in your photo makes them look like they're just like stumps. At the end of the picture, there's just two stumps. Or like an arm will get cut off. You're like, oh, and then you take a picture of a person from here. So we don't want to do that when we're taking a picture of a person. We do not want to cut off appendages, feet. And when I said cutting off heads, when you're taking a picture of a person and you have a horizon, or even like the ground and some bushes and some trees, or a person and then there's a house and a sky, you don't want to have the division between the ground and the sky meeting your person on the neck, because then it looks like their head has been cut off by the horizon line. It's kind of abstract when I say it like this, but I've got a couple pictures, so I'm going to show what I mean by a horizon line. Now, this is a really kind of fun picture where this photographer just shows the most basic way. A difference in colors that hits a person's neck cuts their head off, okay? Another picture here, as you can see, is she's got an arm cut off. It's actually hanging outside of the frame. So we don't want to do that. And we are going to make sure we keep all of the pieces of a person inside. Make sure those feet are in the photo. It's important. We want to see the whole body. And one last thing, we don't want to have things growing out of people's heads. A lot of times we take the picture, we're so focused on the subject that we don't look all the way around. We're not checking out the whole scene. We're not looking what's in the background. And a person could be standing and there's a tree and like one limb is like, whoop, coming right out of the head of the person. We're going to try not to do that. It's still going to happen from time to time, but if we have a couple of seconds to double check before we hit the shutter button, we're going to make sure we're like, okay, let's see everybody's heads. They don't have any poles or sticks or trees or flowers. We just don't want that coming out of the top of their head. All right, that's what you're going to keep in mind. From now on, forever and ever and ever, nothing's coming out of people's heads. Our horizon lines are always straight. This week's assignment is a scavenger hunt. So we are going to go out and we're going to submit 3 photos. You're going to take a whole bunch of photos, but I want you to submit 3 photos, 1 photo from each list. There's 4 lists. You can pick which photos to send in. There's one for home. There's one for a road trip. I mean, if you guys go for drives, that's great. We have one for nature and one for the neighborhood. Take photos based on the scavenger hunt list. Pick 3 of your best photos, 1 photo from each list. Keeping in mind that we are not just taking pictures anymore. We know more than that. We can change our perspective. We can lay things flat. We can take silhouettes or shadows. We know about the rule of thirds and negative space. You will keep all of this in mind when you take your photos this week. And horizon lines are straight, things aren't coming out of people's heads, and nobody's getting appendages cut off. When you have this done, you've accumulated all these photos, you will send me your photos with what list they come from, what the object is, and what you were thinking when you took the photo. Were you thinking negative space, rule of thirds, silhouettes, shadows, lay flat? You changed your perspective? Tell me those 3 things. List it came from, what the item is, and how you took that photo. You're going to send it to me, and next week you're going to have a triptych picture on the slideshow. So I'm going to show all 3 of them at once. A triptych means 3. So I will email you or text you, however we communicate. I'm going to send you the scavenger hunt. So you have it on your phone. Save it to your phone so you always have it with you. I'm going to throw it up right now though. Let's take a look at these scavenger hunts. Page 1. This is the home scavenger hunt. Page 2, Nature scavenger hunt. Page 3 is your neighborhood. And page 4 is a road trip. So, this is going to be a good one. Next week is the last week. I mean, it's the last week. So really, really try, dig down deep, be creative, enjoy the scavenger hunt. I know I'm going to enjoy it. I love scavenger photo hunts. They're so much fun. They give you so much to take photos of. And, you know, we have a lot of time on our hands these days. So, congratulations for making it this far. To continuing your submissions, you guys are doing great. So, I look forward to your photos next week. Due Sunday by 5 p.m., okay?